Do you want to ride powder like this? Without having to go to the backcountry? Inside the resort boundaries? Then continue watching. Welcome to Niseko Powder Secrets. In this video, we are going to take you to Hirafu and show you the best powder runs you can ride in Niseko's best resort. We're going to start with the powder runs in the lower mountain, work our way up to the mid-mountain, and then finish off at the top. The runs are also listed as chapters in the description. There will also be some bonus runs if you follow along the video. Now let's get into it. Hirafu has two main lifts to shuttle skiers and snowboarders up the mountain. They are the Ace 2, better known as Center 4, and the Hirafu Gondola. Center 4 is the workhorse of Niseko. From the top of this lift, you have direct access to Super here. Super is steep, and on a deep powder day, this run is the first choice for many powder hounds that line up in front of Center 4 long before it opens. The only exception is if the gates are open. On those days, a lot of people will ignore Super and head up to the gates. This is what riding Super looks like, isn't this amazing? FURIKO is not as steep, but longer and doesn't get tracked out as quickly as Super. In fact, on snowy days with poor visibility, it can stay deep into the afternoon. This is what riding FURIKO looks like, also amazing. ONSENZAWA is a short but awesome powder run you should do in combination with FURIKO. Here's what that looks like. From the top of Super, you can also enter this area called Super Ridge, or OHIROMA, which means banquet hall in Japanese. And this is truly a powder banquet hall. This area is big with many different lines to take. It never gets boring. OHIROMA is roped off. The entrance is at the top of Super. It is not a gate, but you can only go in when there is an open sign there. On the other side of the trees, on the ridge, there will be another rope. Do not, I repeat, do not cross that rope. The area beyond that rope is a strictly off-limit zone called Harunotaki. There are cliffs there. If you go, you will fall and die. OHIROMA has three distinct areas. The top area, which has open and glade-like zones, as well as tight trees. When it's deep and there is no track to the ridge, it's better to start riding in this area and wait for the skiers to cut a track for you. It starts off flattish, so you want to come in with speed. Then it gets steeper. There are many interesting terrain features here. If you're looking for multiple powder face shots, this is the place. There is also this tree section here. The trees grow a little closer together and riding here can be a bit technical, but because of that, you will also find more stashes of powder even when other places are tracked out. If you go through the tree areas, you will come out to the top of this open face. It's even better if you manage to traverse through the trees to the ridge higher up. Then you can do some ridge riding before you reach this point. From here, the options are endless. If you like jumping, there are many lips at the top from which you can launch yourself into the air. This is a sped up video of going fast and high through the trees to reach the ridge. Here's riding the ridge. And here's riding into the open face. The bottom, third area, is a beautiful tree riding zone. In here you can go as aggressive as you want. To enter this area though, you have to go along the ridge for as long as you can, drop down to the open face and get back up, where the rope ends. This means you need to stay high and come with speed. This is what that looks like. This is the ridge higher up. Notice the rope to my right, don't ever cross it. Keep going along the ridge. The rope will extend along the ridge as well until at one point, it will go left and down into the open face. Before you get there, look for a good spot to drop into the open face. You want to make a sharp skier's right turn, stay high enough, and go in with speed so that you can get up on the flat section once you pass the end of the rope. This is less of an issue for skiers and regular stance boarders. If you don't make it up, you're going to have to ride down the open face to the super course. After going through a flattish section, it will open up and get a little steeper until you reach a steep bowl section. Go crazy. If you think it's too steep, you can go around it in either direction. If you go to the right though, make sure you drift back to the left, so you don't go too far to the right. You need to make sure you end up at the top of this open field, where the little blue arrow is, above the star, which is the exit point. If you go too far to the right, you won't be able to reach this place if it's really deep. This open face is short, but excellent. In some years when it snows too much, cracks might appear earlier in the season than usual. Be careful, you can always see them when you ride up the center 4 lift, so make sure you check beforehand. At the bottom of this face runs a creek. You will have to find a good crossing point. It's better to come with speed when you make the crossing. Don't try to walk, as the snow bridge might collapse. Then hike up to the trail leading back to the bottom of center 4. Let me emphasize why it is important that you don't go too far to the skier's right on your way down from the ridge. Here is another perspective of the super ridge. If you have entered this area legally, you should not be able to miss the big open bowl. Should the bowl be cut up, it might be tempting to ride the powder to the right. You might see a lot of untracked snow. Believe me, there is a reason for that. And even if you see 1 or 2 tracks going in that direction, don't follow. Not only is it inviting, but it's so easy to think, I'm just going to ride a little bit of this untouched before I go back left. Before you know it though, you'll end up having gone too far. This is what happens if you do that, going where the red arrows are. There are no dangerous cliffs like further up the ridge, but taking these lines will lead you away from Hirafu to no man's land. Next, let's move on to the powder runs accessible from the Hirafu gondola. The first one is KONAYUKI, which means powder snow in Japanese. If you like jumping, this place is for you. Once it gets tracked out or even before, you could also go into the tree area to the right of KONAYUKI or to the skier's left. Here's what riding KONAYUKI looks like. Dainino KABE, which means the second wall, is another ungroomed run. This powder run gets tracked out pretty quickly, but you can always find stashes on the side. From the top of this run, if you are on the left side, or skier's right side, you could enter the trees and ride down to ONSENZAWA. Not many people do this, so you can usually find some good powder in there. MIHARASHI is the official name of an ungroomed run highlighted here. To get to the top of this run, you have to hike up a few minutes after you get off the gondola. It is also possible to join this run without hiking, but a bit further down. While this run is awesome on powderful days, it also gets tracked out quickly because it is easily accessible. When locals and avid Niseko powder riders talk about MIHARASHI though, we mean this big tree riding area here. It's a beast. And the best place to ride in MIHARASHI is in the glades. The glades can be divided into 3 sections. The ideal entry point is at the top, where the star is. As simple and straightforward as it may seem. Nailing this point isn't that easy. Even with a lot of experience, it's easy to miss it and go past it. What ends up happening is, once you're in the zone highlighted in red, it feels so good and sometimes you lose track of in which direction you're going. Instead of ending up at the ideal entry point, you end up going like the yellow arrow. And then you realize it and get back to the entry point area, like the brown arrow. As long as you're in the area highlighted in yellow when you realize you've missed the glades, you can still salvage your run. If you go further down, you'll end up in the tree section. From the ideal entry point, you have the option of choosing a line to go straight down, to the left or right. The middle section is like a gully, and most people end up going down there. If there are no tracks or only a few, Congratulations. Take any line you like. If there are tracks, try crossing over far to the left or skiers right. Because of the tight growing trees above it, this part of the glade tends to have fewer tracks. The glades are also northeast facing, so the snow stays protected from the sun. Remember, on deep days when the gates are open, most people will head straight up to access the backcountry powder, go to strawberry fields in Hanazono, or other powder runs easily accessible from the lifts. Spend a few minutes hiking up Miharashi, and you can have all this. The other riding area of Miharashi is called Ura Miharashi, or the back of Miharashi. It's this one highlighted in red. Riding here is more mellow. It's wide and you can cut fresh lines even in the afternoon, but this run is a lot shorter than the glades because you come out on the holiday course much higher up. How to get to the entry points? After getting off the Hirafu gondola, start hiking up the hill on the right. It will just be a few minutes, but it deters enough people from going, which is good for us powder hounds. Once you get to the top, if you drop down in the same direction you came up, you will enter the Ura Miharashi area. If you want to hit the glades, you have to go right towards the cat track. The cat track continues until the Miharashi course starts. The ideal way is to stay on the cat track until the end, or you see the trail start on your right. Then continue straight or slightly left towards the trees. While it's tempting to ride the powder next to the cat track, doing so risks taking you astray, and you might miss the glades altogether. I see that happen to people all the time. Stay patient. This is what the riding towards the ideal entry point to the glades looks like. Here, I continue until the cat track ends. I continue straight, and after seeing the Miharashi course starting on the right, I drift left and set my course into the trees. The tree area going to the entry point is not steep, but very nice. You feel like you're floating on clouds. There are not many natural markers, but I always look for two. One is this snow statue, rock formation or whatever, not sure what's under it. Next are these two trees sticking out like a V. Visibility could be good or bad to very bad. I would recommend you to hit to record activity on the FatMap app before going to record your route. If you miss the entry point or the glade, you could use the app to nail it the next time. Let's summarize the powder runs and areas accessible from the Hirafu gondola. They are Konayuki, Daini no Kabe, Miharashi the course, the Miharashi glades and Ura Miharashi. Now let me show a bonus run. I call it the old lift line. There is this tree section between Konayuki and Miharashi. The fall line is like so. In that tree section, there is a narrow straight strip, where there are no trees. There must have been an old lift there, hence the name the old lift line. I love this run because you can go fast. And because most people tend to go towards Miharashi from higher up, you can find a lot of untouched snow on this strip. If you're a boarder about 3/4 of the way down, start cutting into the trees on your right, and make your way back to Konayuki. This will enable you to get back to the bottom of the gondola quickly. If you ride all the way down to the holiday course, there is a long and flat section, and you may have to unstrap one boot. Skiers can choose either way. Here's what this run looks like. Now let's move up to the mid-mountain powder runs. So far the runs we have covered are more for intermediate to advanced skiers and riders. The runs in this section will be more mellow and fun for powder enthusiasts of all skill levels. If you take the Hirafu gondola, you have two lift options to continue higher. They are the King 3 covered quad and the swinging monkey chair. If you take Center 4, you could continue up by taking the Ace 3, or you could ride down to King 3 or the swinging monkey. The main trails are Rinken, Center Course, Shirakawa, and Jumbo. Rinken is this ungroomed run, but like Miharashi, it refers to this entire area here. After you get off King 3, you could drop straight into the bowl. You could also ride towards Center Course and drop down anytime. If you continue all the way towards Center Course, you could ride the trees down to Rinken. You could also go towards the bottom of King 4 and drop in. On a deep day, this line starting from this old and abandoned lift station and going down straight through an open section is awesome. Go there early and bring a snorkel. Under the swinging monkey and in the trees next to the lift are also popular deep powder runs. They are short, but no powder run is too short if you crave powder, you'll enjoy it. And if you go into the trees, don't go too much to the skier's left or you won't be able to return to the bottom of swinging monkey. You'll have to ride the holiday course all the way down to the bottom of the gondola, not worth it. Let's move on. If you take the Ace 3, you will have access to the Center Course and Shirakawa. Riding the powder under the lift is popular among kids. If you want more terrain, go to Shirakawa and take this line. There is also an ungroomed powder field here, which is great for beginners. You can access these two runs from the top of King 3 as well. Let's move on to the top lifts, King 4 and Ace 4. King 4 is also known as the pizza box lift. Most people ride this lift to get to G3, the peak gate, or G4. The dynamic course, which you can see here, has a groomed and an ungroomed portion. The ungroomed area is amazing on powder days. Take advantage of it when the crowds go for the peak hike. To the left of King 4 is an ungroomed section called Large. The best line for this one is coming from the top of Ace 4. But Ace 4 is rarely open these days. So take advantage of riding deep powder in this section when most people are going for the peak. Even with the crowds, it is possible to ride deep powder in Niseko if you have a plan. Have a plan and remain flexible. While going up the gondola or Center 4, listen to the lift status announcements. Make sure to check out the lift status online as well. Every now and then miracles do happen. For example, the Hana 1 lift in Hanazono might not open on time, even if Hana 2 and Hana 3 do. That means all the people starting from Hana 1 are trapped at the bottom with no way of getting up the mountain. If you ever see this happen, you might consider abandoning your original plan, unless you were going to the peak. Consider doing this instead. Take the Center 4 or the gondola, and get on the King 3 quad. Proceed past the bottom of King 4, the pizza box lift, and also past the top of Hana 3, and go down the Yote Sunset course. A big powder field will open up to your left. Go there and go crazy. Continue going straight down and into the trees. Usually, this run gets quickly cut up by the onslaught of skiers and riders coming from Hanazono. But if Hana 1 isn't operating, then all the powder here is for you. If Hana 3 is running, you can lap this run until it gets tracked out and move on. Even if Hana 2 and 3 are not running, you should consider doing this run. You can always get back to the Hirafu gondola by going to the Renraku course and then holiday course. Or you could ride more powder from the G9 entrance down to the holiday course. A third option is getting back to the Yote Sunset a little earlier, and cross parallel into the trees and join the holiday course from above. Here's another bonus run. When I said don't go too far skiers left when riding the trees next to the swinging monkey lift, this is what I meant. If you go too far, you won't be able to go back to the bottom of the swinging monkey lift. But if powder is getting tracked out and you're desperate to find fresh lines, you could try this. Go down parallel and find a good spot to go into the trees. Get out on the course, cross it and continue into the trees. The pitch is not that long, but steep and nice. Make sure to start going sharp skiers left before you hit the bottom, or you may have to hike out to the holiday course. There you have it, the best powder runs of Hirafu, by far the best powder resort in Niseko. What makes Hirafu exceptional is that the lower two lifts, Center 4 and the gondola, give you direct access to some of Niseko's finest powder riding, both on and off-piste. The mid-mountain has many powder riding options for beginners, intermediate as well as advanced skiers. There is something for everyone. And don't forget to take advantage of the powder runs accessible from King 4, the pizza box lift. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and would like to see more practical Niseko related content, please subscribe to this channel so you get notified when the next video comes out. Oh, before we finish, let me show you another powder run that goes unnoticed by many. I call it the Sky Powder Run, because it's located right in front of Sky, the hotel. It is right next to the Alpen course, which takes you to the bottom of Center 4. For some reason this section here gets neglected and you could find yourself riding powder here late in the afternoon.